Americans are coming to the realization that our federal government has become so corrupt that if Biden had won, we were a few steps away from being like any dysfunctional third world country, say like Africa, like these countries that are constantly in revolt and have horrible wars and famine and disease. We are at the edge of that. Now, it is a huge pill to swallow for any American, be it left or right, that our tax dollars, the majority of our tax dollars, are going to NGOs, non governmental agencies, nonprofits, that is basically a charity for mostly the left, the elite, giving money to people with no accountability, no anything, and it's just totally completely out of control. But here, I mean, so you look at some of the people on the left realizing this and saying, "Hey, we have to fix this. We have to have a reset." It's not about left or right. It's about the future of our country. Bill Maher is obviously on the cutting edge of that. Jon Stewart has also been coming to this realization the last few months. And this is just a perfect example of legislating corruption where literally only a major corporation can get a government contract and or not only that, I mean, you have to be politically connected. You potentially, even, if it's legal bribes or not, it is a completely dysfunctional system. Like when you heard about Kamala had billions of dollars to get rural America on the internet, and they also have billions of dollars to build a charging station. I think they built one or two charging stations that didn't work at all, and they didn't get anyone on the internet. And that's what this is, the realization of what is happening in the total collapse of the federal government.
Notice funding opportunity within 180 days. That's step one. Step two, which all 56 state applicants completed, is states who want to participate must submit a letter of intent. After they do that, they can submit a request for up to $5 million in planning grants. Then the NTIA, step four, has to review and approve and award, again, planning grants, not broadband grants, planning grants.
And it's still at the NTIA. It's still at the first step.
All right. So the NTIA must issue a NOFO within 180 days. States who want to participate must submit their letter of intent.
I know this sounds boring, guys, but this is literally legislation that was written by the Biden administration, and this is how you legally make corruption law.
Step three, they can request up to $5 million in planning grants.
Just planning.
Just planning. Step four, the requests are reviewed, approved, and awarded by the NTIA, which currently all 56, 3 years later, all 56 applicants had passed through at least step five.
And this system applies to building new houses, new apartments, new commercial buildings. When you see these guys driving around in white trucks all over the country that pull up in the grass and they fart around for half the day and they spray the ground with some spray paint, and they're getting paid not them, their parent company is getting paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars by the contractors, by our taxes. It's just bureaucratic, layer on top of layer. And these companies contribute back to the political system that makes it more and more hairy, more and more ugly, more and more dysfunctional.
It took more than 3 years. So it's a long time. States must submit a 5-year action plan. So the states kind of go back and they kind of think about how they're going to do this. And they don't just say, okay, thank you for the money. We're going to spend it. And you can see how it worked out later. We're like, here's our 5-year action plan. Then the FCC must publish the broadband data maps before NTIA allocates funds. So having done the NOFO, the letters of intent, the request for planning grants, then the review, approval, and awarding of the planning grants, then the 5-year action plans. In between that, the federal government has to put forward a map saying where it thinks we need rural broadband subsidies. And then, of course, the states need an opportunity to challenge the map for accuracy. And you can imagine this doesn't all happen in like a day. Okay. So then the NTIA, step 7, has to use the FCC maps to make allocation decisions. Then, having already done their letter of intent, their request for planning grants, it's hard even to talk about this, man. Step 7 is NTIA must use the FCC maps that were already challenged for allocation decisions. Then, having submitted all this, I think this one is actually quite amazing.
Yeah.
Having submitted their 5-year plans or letters of intent, step 8 is states must submit an initial proposal to the NTIA. Then,
is that the result of their $5 million planning fund? This
I
initial
assume,
proposal?
but then what was the 5-year plan?
And what the fuck did they apply for? What was their NOFO?
Like, if the 5-year action plan isn't the initial proposal, then what's the 5-year action
Forget
plan?
NOFO.
Okay.
MOFO.
Step 9, NTIA must review and approve each state's, again, initial proposal. By my read, we have had at least 2 initial proposals here, but that's a different issue.
Oh my God.
Step 10, states must publish their own map and allow internal challenges to their own map. So the government has published a map. They have invited the states to challenge the map. Then states have submitted initial proposals, and they then have to publish their own map and allow challenges.
Wait, who's challenging it within the state?
Well, organized interest groups, environmental groups, like I don't know who specifically, but literally anybody. This is, right. I want to say something because it's very important I say this. This is the Biden administration's process for its own bill. They wanted this to happen. This is how liberal government works now.
This is something they instituted.
Keep in mind, guys, these are both hardened liberal, on their side. Now, Jon Stewart has been the, defending 9/11 first responders and veterans more than anyone, which is now somehow a conservative talking point because the liberal leadership has decided that military bad and let's put women saying they're men in the military, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, both of these guys have been long-term liberals, but they also have good common sense. So they're trying to figure out what is actually going on and how to stop it instead of just let's just scream at everything and be angry and let's get back to corruption as quickly as possible.
For this bill.
For their bill. This is a bill passed by Democrats with a regulatory structure written by Democratic administration.
If there's one thing you know about.
So anyway, guys, I think I'll leave it there. If you guys want to see this full video, there are, quite a few different chopped. I mean, it's a long video, it's a long bill. But the other thing I got to say is Musk shots fired before even Doge, where they come up with these bills that are hundreds, if not thousands of pages with all of this just bloated mess to grease pockets of everyone that they want to. And now, hopefully, with AI, they can cut a lot of this back and get a lot of this corruption transparent. Because this is a bill, I believe, that was passed 3 or 4 years ago, and people are just trying to break down. Unfortunately, will Kamala ever get in trouble for destroying the border and wasting billions of dollars with fraud? Probably not. Just total incompetence. But at least we can understand what happened and try to prevent it from happening again. What do you guys think?